Good morning. How are you guys? This is Keelan coming at you with Mystical Mornings, and I have a very special guest today, Miss Simply Gabriella. How are you, love?
Hi, I'm so good.
Hi.
It's so nice to be here with you today. I know it's early for you.
Yay.
I've done
Yeah.
a few things. I'm feeling okay.
Yeah. What time is it there?
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah,
a late lunch.
yeah,
Cool. So
exactly.
I brought Gabriella in today because we were talking about rituals on Monday, and yesterday I was talking about light work, and I wanted you to come in and talk about some of the tools because I know you do a lot of work with crystals. You do a lot of
Yeah,
energy healing. You do a lot, right? Like in this mystical space.
yeah.
So you definitely came to mind really quickly. Gabriella is a client of
Um,
mine and also a wonderful friend we've done some awesome sessions with the puppies, animal communicators.
yeah,
So I'm
I
so
love
excited to have you
it.
here.
I'm so excited
Yeah.
to be
So let's
here.
explain.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Oh
you're
no.
welcome. So let's explore some tools.
Yeah, no, yeah, obviously, yeah, student of Keelan's, honestly, I mean, you're here, you love her anyway, but she's awesome. And yeah, and yeah, grateful for your friendship and just excited to be here today. But yeah, so I do a lot of spiritual work in varying layers of different things, as you said, sort of working with crystals and energy, and then all the psychic levels and stuff as well. So yeah, lots of different areas to cover. In regards to I feel like I have so much to talk about. Is there someone specific you wanted me to zone into today that I
I
can
want
help
to
with?
talk about specifically tools, like
Okay,
smudging, how you can use the
awesome.
crystals, things like that.
Love it. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, in regards to, I've got a few in front of me. So let me, this is
Cool.
one little jar full
Wow.
that has a nice, nice amount in. I would just like to preface that I work with them, which is why I have so many. And then there's like the slightly bigger ones like this. Anything like an amethyst, they call it like a bed that's kind of flat and has space on it, is one you
Mhm.
can use to cleanse and charge other crystals as well. So if you have crystals and you're not too sure kind of how to look after them, and you have something like this, you could always use it to kind of have on and do a little clearing, which is
Mm.
always really nice. And then other regards to like using tools and cleansing space would be anything from, like you said, with the smudging and having anything like sage, incense. If you don't have sage, you can use some incense, that's fine. Palo
Mm.
Santo is really good as well. It's literally like a little piece of wood if you don't know
A
what it
little piece
looks
of
like.
wood. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't have any,
exactly.
but yeah.
So it's nice, and it has a very different texture and cleansing level, I guess is what I want to say, because
It has almost like
the
a soapy smell to it, I feel like.
yeah,
It's
it's quite
really
like a denser smoke, and it doesn't necessarily kind of spread as far, but it's more concentrated, I guess, is the way to
got it.
explain
Yeah.
how it works. Whereas
Yeah.
the sage tends to kind of fill the space a lot more. But they're
So
excellent ways
why
to
so
cleansing.
what are some um ways to use the smudging
Okay, so
specifically?
I
Yeah.
love that question. So smudging you can use in a couple of ways. So you can either use smudging for cleansing your tools and crystals and things like that, and letting the energy of those cleanse. You can also use it in cleansing your like physical space around you. So you know how sometimes in a room the energy is just is built up, and it maybe doesn't feel as much in the flow, or it feels a little bit heavy. Um, it can be excellent to use sage to smudge a room. And I would really recommend kind of getting into the corners, because they really do
Mm.
store energy in corners of the room. So they're an excellent way to cleanse your actual space around you. You can also use sage for kind of your own aura and your own sense of self, to have like a little bit of a TLC time
So
and a little bit of a cleanse of energy.
I want to show you something. I got
Yeah, love
this
it. Yes, a
in
lot of people with
yeah.
feathers.
Yeah, so I got
100%.
this, and my friend Beth, she got one too. She's a brilliant shaman, and we got it in
Love
Mount Shasta. So yeah, so we were smudging
that.
and then using it to
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
So she leans over. Yeah. So you would have like your feather, like you said,
Yeah.
and you would, yeah, with your smoke and things like that.
My
And the
huge
feather,
thing is
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Because they add the element. The thing is, as well, you'll find, depending on kind of how you're learning what you're connecting to, is they all add different elements, right? So this would be all your air element, your sage is your fire element, and your abalone shell is your water element. And then obviously the fact of what you're doing is very grounding. So they kind of all incorporate each other, which is really nice as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are kind of the base level ways I guess you could use sage to really impact your space. And there are things that as well, like the sage will last you, because once you've used it in your room, you just put it out and then you would relight it anytime you felt the need to use it, which is really nice. So that's an excellent way. Another way that you could use, or another tool that you could use for like cleansing and clearing in just connectiveness, is anything sound related. So like a singing bowl and the sound of the singing bowl, and if you were to like go around it, any kind of sound can be really impactful in a sense of using a tool. And the thing is, with the sound, you can use it for healing as well. So you don't have to be a healer to use sound as an impactful way to, again, cleanse your space, cleanse your energy. So it's another really nice, simple tool that you can...
I want to expand on that for a second. And I have a philosophy that we're all healers.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Anyone that asks me about anything that I do, whether it's the psychic element, the mediumistic, the healing, the animal communication, like all of us have that ability within us. It's just relearning it sometimes is the thing, is
remembering, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's all energy and we're all connected by energy. Like, it's everywhere. If you're really scientific, you can get super into that within quantum physics and stuff and learn a lot more of that kind of science base of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all connected with energy. So everyone has the ability to do any of that work. It's just reconnecting and re-listening to yourself and the universe, I guess, is the best way to say it. So yeah, 100%.
I never thought about the sound though, the sound bowl. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you can do like your singing bowls, drums. You have like the little chimes, like I have just here. Bear with me.
Yeah, what do you got?
Like these little ones. Yeah, they're loud. You would just ding really gently. So you've got such different layers of sound. And the thing with the singing bowls as well is they all hit different like megahertz levels. They all hit different vibrational levels. So they will all impact your energy in different ways. So you'll find that maybe one singing bowl or sound level feels really healing and calming, and another one might feel a little bit jarring because maybe you don't need it right now. So it's always interesting to play with it.
I love it. Of course, sound is healing, right? Like we listen to music to dance and feel good. So I love that on the other level, using it to clear, actually to smudge. I had really connected that.
And like, as you've said with music, like different ones will impact your mood differently. So sometimes you might need to listen to something super upbeat and bring your energy up, and other times you might need something to help just bring your energy back into a calmer space or feel less anxiety, so it might need a more gentle tone. So we do use music in the same way, I guess. Yeah, definitely.
Got it. What about salt? I've heard people use salt sometimes to clear. Have you ever done anything with salt?
Yeah, so salt is often more used in things like, so your bath. You might want to use, there's certain types of salt that, again, kind of do different things in a certain way. A lot of people tend to like the Himalayan salt or the Epsom salts.
Yeah.
And you put those in your bath and it creates just a different energy. It's also, again, very healing. So you have salt for those kind of things. Some may incorporate them in like mixtures that you would have where you have different herbs and things. So loose incense, you'll get different loose incense. So they might use a little bit in things like that, depending on the blend they're creating. Those are kind of the extent of how I currently use and connect with salt. But there may be other levels and other uses. Obviously, if you go way more in the past, more traditional, you would also use salt as like a protection thing, is another thing that people feel with salt as a usage, but that's not something I have as much experience with, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I bring it up because I do have a friend who, she told me to put salt in the corners and she's
Yeah, I
from
love
the
that.
Middle East. So
Amazing. Yeah,
yeah,
100%. Like I said, that protection type thing. Another
totally.
thing you could do with any kind of grounding crystal, something like a black tourmaline generally tends to be the one that people would use. But like on your door frame at the top where people would be entering, coming and going,
Yeah.
you would have a little bit on top of there to help protect and cleanse the doorway and the space and what's coming into your home.
Yeah, awesome. I was outside of Salem for Halloween this past Halloween.
Oh wow.
And we were in Rockport, which is right
Yeah.
near Salem, but it's on the ocean.
Oh.
And we brought my friend Tia and her two nephews, and we used tourmaline to protect the Airbnb we stayed in, which was beautiful. It was a gorgeous house. And outside the day of Halloween, we saw a ghost. She looked like a normal lady.
That's incredible.
And she was not happy. She was not a happy lady. And the boys saw her later at like around midnight again in exactly the same place. It was incredible. And Tia's like, that's why we put up the tourmaline, you know, like, yep, got it.
Well, yeah.
You know,
so you think about the area that you were in and the
super ancient,
that super history and connection and impact that has allowed us to eventually get to a space where we can talk about this and it can be accepted and it can be brought forward in that incredible way. And I feel like despite the impact and the struggle, you know, it needs honoring because everything that they stood for and were brave enough to continue to stand for and be called out for has led us to have that ability to openly have all these natural, incredible ways to connect and to heal and to listen to ourselves and each other. And I think that's incredible because, you know, it has to start somewhere. And normally these kind of things are the things that take the longest to get accepted because they're out of the box. The initial logic is delayed, I guess, for the intuition and the energy connection of it. But I do love that for those people that are more science-based, there is so much more explanation starting to appear. And so it's something that they can then have something a little more tangible. Like whilst there's still a lot more that I feel is going to come to light and be understood scientifically that is already kind of known spiritually, it's just really nice to see it kind of giving people other ways to understand it, if that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, and giving ourselves permission to explore it in a non-ashamed way, in a really empowered way. And it was cool to be in Salem because for what it's known for is such a small blip in time. And just a side note, my husband-elect Darren, he's a Conan. His last name's Conan, and the mayor of Salem, his last name is Conan, and his name was Roger Conan, who's Darren's father's name. And there's a big statue of him. It looks just like Darren's dad.
That's incredible.
Side note, but the energy there, you know, is beautiful, and it actually you have a lot of mystical people there. And when we were watching the parade, we were just watching because it was a really cold day on Halloween. Obviously, with COVID, you know, it was everyone had masks on, and they didn't really want people there, but the stores were open, and we were just like, okay, that's an old school witch. Okay, that's a Victorian witch. That's a new wave witch, and we're just talking about it, and like we looked at each other, we're like, we're the new witches. Like we're just in street clothes, you know, like, and it felt good to claim that again, to really say, you know, like we're good witches and we all have the power if we want to utilize it, because we do have the power to heal the world.
We do. And the thing is, I think so often, like a lot of helper healers tend to start out because they want to help other people. But what you so quickly realize is actually giving that to yourself, reclaiming your power, reclaiming that ability to heal, connect within yourself, naturally impacts, helps and heals those around you. And so it becomes such a vital part of the journey and of the elements of actually helping others. Like it's all so much deeper than you first put your toe into. And it's just really cool to kind of watch how it unfolds.
Well, it's just like the high vibe, right? Like when I'm having a bad day, it's not just affecting me, it's affecting Darren, it's affecting my animals, it's affecting my neighbors. Like I can't even see the energy flow. So when we're really like conscious of where we're at, and as our vibrations raise, which we get to raise all together as a
Yeah,
collective,
100%.
it
Yeah.
really will change the world.
100%. Like, I love the way you have noticed that and explained it, because it can take a while to kind of realize the impact our energy has on everything around us. But when we become aware, no, it doesn't mean like don't feel stuff, don't be aware of stuff, because you have to still allow yourself emotion and to feel.
Have your feelings, but don't have them on other people.
No, exactly. But then you can learn, okay, so like, how do I now, what can I learn about myself here that I can work through, heal, and become a better version, and maybe not create such an extra effect around me. What do I need to stop myself getting into this pattern more frequently, if it's something that comes up for you a lot and stuff like that. So all of it incorporates itself, and all the tools and things like are important and help along the way for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a couple of tools here. I've got a prediction book that I love. I read it on the plane sometimes because it's got muscle testing and how to read palms, and it's really fun. So if you guys are like looking for tools to kind of get into this, always share them. I'm always asking you guys to share, and you do. So thank you. So
well, you can do as well, just where you pointed out that book. If you're just starting out and you're not sure kind of what books you want to get and stuff like that, honestly, like, even if you don't have any cards, just pick up a book that's around you, close your eyes, ask for a message, open that book, and you will find a sentence jumps out or a word, and that will be like a message in itself, and you can kind of start building up with that. So tools you naturally already have around you too.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the cards. I have angel cards that I've used forever, and I have tarot cards that I'm terrified to use. So that's a whole other story. No. I know. I should. But that's a. I know. I now that I say that, I'm like, that's silly. And I always have, the good book. And a girlfriend of mine.
I love that.
My mom gave me this one. A girlfriend of mine in high school, I think, she was like, if you just open the Bible and pick a sentence, like, it's pretty deep. And I'm like, what? And I wasn't raised religious, right?
Yeah.
I'm more leaning into my spiritual. I wasn't raised religious, but that is a pretty good way. So any book, I love that. Like, if you're, you can flip a coin too. Like, I definitely flip coins. I used to have an 8-ball. I loved my 8-ball. When I worked in corporate, I always had an 8-ball on my desk, so that would help me with things. A girlfriend of mine gave me some Lucky Buddha matches that I love. I'm actually kind of stingy with them. Yeah. So, and
like, you can use all kinds of tools and all kinds of techniques. Yeah, perfect.
I live near the ocean, so yeah.
And that's really nice that you get to like have something that's a part of where you live and where you're at. Like, I think that's really gorgeous as well.
Yeah,
that's so great. And I think the thing, just touching on the cards, because obviously you briefly like mentioned, like, I think sometimes people fear them because there's such a lack of understanding or are unsure of them. But like, really, they're just you tapping into your intuition and listening to what they have to say to you. And like, even with tarot, there's 2 ways that people read them. They either read them traditionally by the book, that like how they're like, I say, supposed to, or people are like me and they go, how do these make me feel? What stands out? What do I feel the message is within this card? So there's different ways you can utilize and tap into it, and it's just intuitive.
It's so many layers of extra permission giving, right? Like, it's over and over. And I think my mom got me these forever ago, and I have the angel cards, which are really easy. Like, for me, those are easy to read, but the tarot has always been kind of a next level, so I get to really lean into that. So thank you for that permission. So thank you for your time.
You're so welcome.
Go ahead. Where are you going to go? I don't want to cut you off because it's so good.
No. I was just going to say, with the cards, like, there's so many different styles. So if something feels too much with the imagery, you can get things that literally have little words on the bottom. So you can kind of start pairing up a connection.
Well, I have your book. So Gabriella, I've got your book right here, actually. And I put the date on it.
Perfect. I didn't realize I hadn't done that. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So Gabriella did an annual reading for me, and it's beautiful because it's got, not only does it have my reading in it, but it has do you design these cards too?
The cards, actually, my mum created.
Oh my God, I love
the whole deck was created by her, and it was an incredible. incredible beauty that came out of grief, basically, is how that deck got created. So
I know all about that. When
Yeah.
my mom passed away, my creativity shot through the roof. But yeah,
right.
they're really beautiful cards. And then, you know, you've got the crystals around, and then it's got my, you know, my thing for the month. And I get to read February next. So I'm almost there. So I love this book. So if you guys are digging on Gabriella, which you totally should be, reach out to her, because she, you know, we've been able to communicate with Wiley and Boca through Gabriella. I've got a beautiful 12-month plan here. So, you know, this is a very, very talented mystic, and very generous woman. So please follow her on Instagram. And you're on Facebook too, right?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. I tend to use Instagram a lot more, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Just because I'm quite a visual person, so it works for me.
And your videos are awesome.
Thank you.
You know, I have a pretty high bar. Just kidding. Your videos are great. So yeah, follow. Let's put your Instagram handle in the comments.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
follow Gabriella, and I'm sure I'll have you on again. So thank you so much for your time.
Anytime. Know where I am. Thank you for having me, and hopefully this has been helpful, giving guys insights, and I've had a great time. So thanks.
Yeah, of course. And guys, let us know, like, you know, did you learn anything new, or, you know, what's your own tool that you use? Maybe one that we didn't touch on today. So love you guys. Have a great Wednesday.
Take care.
Bye, beautiful. Bye.